All right, everyone. Let's dive into something that's been creating a lot of buzz lately, AI in the business world. And no, we're not talking about robots taking our jobs, at least not entirely. We're going deeper than those flashy headlines to see how AI is changing things right now and what it means for you, your career, everything.
It's a question I get asked constantly, and honestly, there's a lot of hype out there. But this research paper we're looking at today, it cuts through all that.
Absolutely. It's called Artificial Intelligence in Business. What is the future for people?
Mhm.
Published just last year by Rodriguez Castellanos and their team. And even for someone like me who follows this stuff closely, the findings were seriously eye-opening.
What struck me was how practical it is. It's not just theory. It's looking at how businesses are actually using AI right now. This isn't some sci-fi future. It's happening now, and at a scale most people wouldn't believe.
That's what blew me away, too, the sheer scale of it all. One stat from the paper that really jumped out was that AI use in business has more than doubled since 2017. So it's not just some tech trend. This is transforming how entire industries work, from marketing to those complex supply chains, even how companies plan their big picture strategy.
Exactly. It's like we're entering this whole new era. The paper argues that AI is becoming as essential to business as, like, electricity or the internet.
Wow, that's a huge statement. So we've established AI is basically everywhere in business now. Got it. But what I think everyone wants to know is, what does that actually mean for us humans? I mean, be honest, are we all about to be replaced by robots?
It's a valid concern. And to be fair to the paper, they don't shy away from the challenges. Companies are in a tricky spot. They need AI to stay competitive, but they've also got to manage their employees, right? People are anxious. And then there's the whole issue of keeping customers' trust if you're using AI in the background, not to mention making sure AI is used ethically. It's a lot to balance.
Yeah, and the paper even gets into how different cultures view AI, which I found fascinating. What works in one country might totally flop in another, so businesses have these extra layers of cultural nuances to consider.
It all comes back to the human impact. It's not just about the technology itself. Like some companies are finding that even if they're excited about AI, their employees are terrified of being replaced.
Oh, I can only imagine the office drama that's causing.
So true. This isn't just a tech revolution, it's a human one too. And that brings us to what I think is the core of the paper. What can humans do that AI can't? Is there even anything left? Are we really destined to become obsolete? So we're left wondering, are we humans really destined to become obsolete?
Well, thankfully, this paper gives us a bit more of an optimistic outlook.
Okay, good, because I was starting to get a little worried there for a second.
Yeah, it argues that actually certain human skills are going to be more valuable than ever before in this age of AI.
Interesting. So instead of focusing on what AI can do better, these researchers are highlighting what makes us humans irreplaceable.
Exactly. They even have a term for it, the irreplaceable elements.
Yeah.
And they say that these elements are going to be what really sets us apart in the future of work. The irreplaceable elements. I like the sound of that. Tell me more. What are these elements?
So the paper breaks it down into three key areas, and they are contextual interpretation, emotional force, and critical creativity.
Okay, those sound pretty deep. Can you break those down for me? What exactly do those terms mean?
Absolutely. Let's start with contextual interpretation. So as humans, we're wired to understand things that go way beyond just data points.
Right, like reading between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. We can read a room, grasp unspoken things. We can connect the dots in a way that AI, even with all its processing power, just can't quite do yet.
So it's like AI might be able to analyze a million customer service calls, but it can't really understand why a customer is frustrated. It can't pick up on those emotional nuances that we can.
Exactly. Think about it. AI could process all the data from a million customer interactions,
Mhm.
but it can't truly grasp what it means when someone says, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed."
Hmm.
We humans, on the other hand, we live in that world of emotional nuance.
That's a really good point. It's like the difference between reading the dictionary definition of a word and knowing how to actually use it in conversation. AI has the definitions down, but humans, we have the conversational fluency.
That's a great analogy. I love that. Okay, now let's talk about that secondary emotional force.
Hmm.
And think about what truly motivates people. What drives real innovation? What inspires people to go that extra mile? It's not always logic or data. It's passion. It's empathy, that human connection. That's what fuels those big breakthroughs.
Right. So AI might be able to optimize a system, make it super efficient, but it can't rally a team around a shared vision or create a company culture where people feel connected and valued. That still requires that human touch.
Exactly. AI can tell you the most efficient way to do something, maybe analyze all the data to improve productivity, but it can't replicate that feeling you get when you overcome a challenge as a team. you know? Those are uniquely human experiences.
Absolutely. And finally, we've got critical creativity. This one really stands out to me. So tell me, what is critical creativity and why is it so important in this world that's becoming increasingly driven by AI? So we've established that AI isn't replacing us humans anytime soon, and we've got these awesome, uniquely human skills that are more valuable than ever. But how do we actually make this human AI partnership work in the real world? It's like, I don't know, trying to teach a bear to dance. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a pretty great image. But you're right. It's one thing to talk about the potential. It's another thing entirely to actually make it happen. And that's where this paper gets really practical, I think. They argue that the most successful companies moving forward are going to be the ones who figure out how to combine human strengths with the power of AI.
Right, like using both tools in the toolbox where they work best.
Exactly. They actually call it the power of partnership.
Power of partnership. I like the sound of that. But what does that actually look like on the ground, you know?
Well, think of it this way. AI is like a really powerful engine, but we humans, we're the ones steering the car. AI can do all the heavy lifting, right? Processing huge amounts of data, automating those tedious tasks, identifying patterns that we might miss. But then it's up to us humans to take that data, interpret it using all our knowledge and experience, and turn it into something truly innovative and impactful.
So it's about playing to our strengths, both humans and AI. AI takes care of what it's good at, which frees us up to focus on things like strategic thinking, creative problem solving, building those human connections.
Exactly. And the paper gives some really cool examples of how this is already playing out. Like in healthcare, AI can analyze medical images to spot things that doctors might miss, even the best of the best.
Oh, wow. So it's like having an extra set of eyes, but AI eyes.
Yeah, but then it's still the human doctor who uses their expertise, their years of training, to make the diagnosis and decide on the best treatment plan.
That makes sense. It's not about replacing doctors. It's about giving them more tools to do their jobs even better.
Exactly. And we're seeing this in other fields too. Like in finance, AI can crunch the numbers on market trends and find potential investment opportunities. But then you still need human financial advisors who can work with clients, understand what they really need and want, and help them make those big financial decisions.
It's amazing to think about how this power of partnership could transform different industries. But I know some of our listeners are probably thinking, okay, that's fascinating and all, but what does this actually mean for me in my own career?
That's the million-dollar question,
Yeah.
right? I think the biggest takeaway here is to focus on developing those uniquely human skills we've been talking about. Your contextual awareness, your emotional intelligence, that ability to think critically and creatively. Those are the skills that are going to make you invaluable in this new world of AI.
So it's not about becoming a tech whiz or learning how to code. It's about doubling down on our human skills, almost like becoming even more human in a way.
Exactly. Embrace what makes you human. That's where the real power lies.
Yeah. I love that. This has been such an insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for breaking all this down with me. So it seems like AI is rapidly changing the business landscape. That much is clear. But it's not about robots taking over. It's about finding that balance, that power of partnership. Humans and AI working together, leveraging each other's strengths to create something truly incredible. Keep learning, stay curious, and remember, the future belongs to those who can embrace both their humanity and the power of technology. Until next time, this has been The Deep Dive.